Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday morning. My name's David Gussin. Here's my co-host, Mr. Tommy Mele, and it's live from Long Island. Good morning, Mr. Mele.
Good morning.
Am I all right already to start the day?
No. It's just another Sunday morning, early morning, Sunday morning.
Oh my God, this guy sounds like he's sleeping.
Hey, listen, you know what
my bagel even was not even soggy this morning.
No, let's talk about the bagel for a minute, all right? Because we've been doing this show now 2 months, right?
Yes.
And for 2 months, the bagel master of the world, I have been trying to get a bagel. So let's just calculate this. In 2 months, that is roughly 8 shows, minus the 2 that I was unable to attend. That's 6 shows.
Okay.
And during the 6 shows, have we or have we not been talking about bagels?
It seems that we start the show with that. I hope our viewers are okay with that. But it's nice to start Sunday morning with a bagel. It's the Jewish tradition.
Absolutely.
Mele, you got a problem with that?
Madhousetv, all right? I would love to start a Sunday morning with a bagel because getting up at 5:30, getting ready, coming down here. Listen, it's not that we don't love to do it, guys. We'd love to be here with you. We love coming in Sunday morning. However,
there's always a however. What's the however?
how do I like the bagel?
You told me you like it toasted with butter.
Toasted with cream cheese.
Ah, okay. My bad then. My bad then. I'll take responsibility
this
for that.
is what we're going to do. Next Sunday, when you see us here, the first topic of conversation is going to talk about toasted with
Cream cheese.
There you go.
And I happen to like mini bagels.
Where'd you get that little bagel from? That
Mini
looked like
bagels.
a little mini bagel.
It was a mini bagel. I like mini bagels.
So not only did you get me a bagel, but you got me a mini bagel.
Half-priced.
Oh, hey, they're typical, right?
No.
All right. So you got it on sale? You got me a bagel on sale?
I like everything I have in mini portions. I like mini bagels. I like to eat appetizers. I like to, if it's so good, I'll have a second mini bagel.
Do I look like I eat mini?
You don't look like you eat mini, but I was there. I was placing the order. It wasn't all about you, so I said, give me 5 mini bagels, blah, 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 and 1 toasted with butter. I should have ordered cream cheese.
I'll let you go with that one. All right. But thank you for the bagel anyway.
Thank you. A simple thank you goes a long way.
I love the bagel. I love the whole concept, the idea that you got me a bagel in the morning.
I don't know if you're crazy about getting up Sunday mornings, though, with me, Mele. I'm going to have to call you at like 4 o'clock and get you up earlier.
4 o'clock. You call me at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm
going
to send the hit squad over there.
We have trouble?
I'll send Vicky over there.
Vicky.
No.
Vicky Mele, nice to have you back, feeling well and everything.
That was a scary thing.
A little bite by a dog that you love. The dog didn't seem to be affected at all,
We
though.
never said it was the dog I loved. All right, it was a bite by the dog. Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking for a while there. But, she got through it, and, it's just, it is what it is. But thank God it could have been worse, right?
What's on the agenda this week, Mr. Mele? Because on the front page of this paper, it's the David Letterman show. So I figure the world's in good shape if the David Letterman show, whatever happened on the David Letterman show, if that's the headlines, I figure everything must be all right.
Tired of hearing about this Ebola thing?
I don't like to say I'm tired of it in case it turns out to be really worse than it is. But
do you know where Ebola came from?
I believe some other continent.
Ebola. In Africa, there's a river called the Ebola River. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
And if I remember from my history, I'm trying to remember the dictator's name. I think it was Idi Amin.
Idi Amin Dada?
Idi Amin.
From Uganda.
Yes. How do you say it?
Idi Amin Dada.
Idi Amin Dada?
I remember that as his name when he had hostages in Uganda.
Can we call him Edie?
If you feel close, if you guys are on a first name, you and Edie on a first name basis, call him Edie.
So anyway, if you know anything about this, and this is just my theory, I don't know if this theory is true or not, because I haven't heard it on CNN or Fox or any of this nonsense. But that dude killed a lot of people, did he not?
He seemed to be a bad dude, a bad dictator,
right.
A bad man.
But what did he do with the bodies?
That I'm not sure.
Maybe he dumped them in a river?
It wouldn't be shocking.
But he did. He dumped them in a river. He dumped them in the Ebola River.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he did this, before he fled, he he killed all of these people. He dumped them in the. That had to be 15 years ago, if I remember right, roughly?
Even possibly more, I believe. Yeah.
18 years ago. He killed literally thousands and thousands of people and dumped them in the Ebola River. Now, this disease came, and I think they named it after the Ebola River. But do you think that it's remotely possible that all of those bodies decaying, I mean, thousands and thousands of people he killed, all the decay of the bodies created this Ebola virus?
I must say, you would think it's possible. You know, oil spills in the water, different things. You would think if if what you say occurred.
I mean, I'm just wondering. It's just a topic of thought that knowing that you know, Dada put all of these bodies.
You call him by his first name? Okay.
But you see, I can't get into all of these names like these Habadoba, Haba, Hamain, and I can't get into that stuff. Can you get into that stuff?
I can get into it because people are named that. If you want people to have respect for each other, you can't make fun. Imagine you run into someone that make it. I'll use my name. I won't make fun of you. Instead of Gussin, they call Gussin. Oh, all these Gussins and Gussins, they're all the same. I'd be like, maybe all the same to you, but not to me. So,
but that I can get. But you know, you hear these long Arabic, and listen, I got nothing against the Arabics or you know, listen, or the Muslims.
You're such. Go on.
I'm such a what?
Troublemaker. I'm
not a troublemaker.
You know what you just said? I have nothing with the Arab name. Like when someone starts a sentence, don't take this personally. Be assured that you're going to take it personally.
So I just don't get the name concept. All right? What happened to Bill and Tom and Billy and David? You know, you got to have all of these names like Hamu, Hama, Hamid. You know, what does that mean? Hamu. Hey, Hamu, you want to come over here? Dinner's on the table.
Man, you were probably upsetting so many viewers for being disrespectful to them, just being regular humorous.
I'm asking a question. It's like me coming. You know, all right, let's back up a little bit. Children today, they're naming their kids.
Okay.
Like Shamis.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know what it means, but if I saw a little kid named Shamis, I'd be real nice to them. I'd tell them what a nice name.
Why would you be nice? I mean,
because,
be nice because
it's a kid.
But where do you? Names have, you know, people grew up years ago and their names meant something. It meant something religious, or it meant something because it was passed down. I know that in the Jewish faith you can't have a junior.
Well, you can have a junior, but I want to know in the old days, Jewish people going back a few centuries, they didn't have last names, and they didn't like having last names, as a matter of fact, because at the time,
how did you identify them?
They didn't want to be identified. They thought the last names was the way of the government and the countries they were at keeping track of them. But a name like Mendelssohn came from, so they named them according to what they did. So a guy like Mendel was really like a tailor.
All right. What about Schwartzstein?
I don't want to say what the origin was, but it was the way they didn't first want them because it felt that it gave the powers that be a way to track them. We're going back a few hundred years now, but they didn't always have last names. They were put upon them.
Listen, I'm not saying anything is wrong with it. I'm just trying to figure out what the symbolism is.
No, I could go along with the symbolism, Mele.
I'm not insulting anybody.
No, actually you are. You might not know it. You're not insulting me.
No, now they think I'm insulting because you told them I was insulting.
When you're making fun of people's names,
I'm not making fun. You see, you're missing the point.
Let's go to the videotape, please.
I'm not making fun of people.
You were making fun of their names.
I'm saying I don't.
You were. Go on.
I'm not making fun of their. I don't mean to make fun of their names. I'm saying I don't understand the symbolism behind Abuba, come to dinner.
Google it.
Google Abuba?
Maybe Abuba means king in Muslim. I don't know what it means, but it probably means something. Or Korean, all the Lees and the different names, everyone names. There's a reason for it. I don't know the reason, but I don't make fun of it.
I have always been, you know, this show was built on the premise of business on Long Island, correct? Or business around the world.
Good stuff in the community.
All right, or in the community. And I'm always for American businesses. I like to see American businesses thrive. I like to see people buy American, even though don't look at my car. But I mean, I've had American cars, which were good American cars. I have a Dodge, I mean, it's a great truck. And it was built around businesses. I totally forgot where I was going with this thought.
But I'm glad
you got me on this thing with the name.
Well,
Right?
video, but I want to agree with you on one thing. You know what they say the best thing that Americans have going for them when they judge of how they're going to do and which country's going to lead the way, and somehow, Japan's going to be the next big superpower.
best thing the
and this
Americans
country
have going
is their
for-
spirit and attitude.
I was going to say the women, but it's okay.
No,
Go
with
ahead.
business. Their spirit and attitude. The spirit and attitude that they could get up and accomplish anything and get out there. And like my mom taught me, and many moms and parents, you could do anything you put your mind to. If you're not in a country of getting to go and
I have a
opportunities, they
problem
miss
with-
on that.
No, I have a problem with that.
Which part?
I think generally, the kids that are growing up today, generally, and don't get me wrong on this, all right, don't misquote what I'm about to say. I think that generally, the kids today, on average, are very lazy. I don't think that they get up today and say, okay, I want to create a business like years ago. I think that most of the businesses today, unless you're a Harvard or a Yale graduate, or you just happen to be, what's the right word I'm looking for, energetic, most of the kids today are lazy. You have people that come in from over in Europe. Let's go back to the Arabs or the Muslims. A lot of Muslims, a lot of Arabs own 7-Elevens and gas stations and everything. All right, they come over. Tell me why a lot of these outside people are, I'm not outside, but a lot of people from different countries come over and they call America the land of the free, the American dream.
Land of
But yet
opportunity.
our kids today are not excelling in the world of business.
Is it a rhetorical question to me or a real question?
Real question.
Cycles of struggling, cycles of comfort. All countries have fallen from within. So like when our parents were young and their parents are coming through the Great Depression, it was a thing of struggling, and everyone always likes a better life for their kids. But when you make a better life for their kids, you also make it comfortable for them. And in times you entitle them. So you have different generations of ones that work hard because they just have to or they're going to starve. But then you got the kids, and they don't want their kids to struggle as much, which means they entitle them more and cater them more and pamper them more. And what happens with that is...
What they're doing is they're making them, and don't think, they're making them stupid. Not stupid, but they're making them there's no passion for discovery or building. You take somebody like the guy that built Facebook. That was an accident. I still think he stole it from those other two dudes, those twins. I still think that happened. I think, what's his name? What's the guy's name?
Mark, I'm forgetting his name.
Jewish
As I
guy.
speak. Yes,
Jewish boy.
but the guy who created Facebook. I'm having a brain freeze
The guy
right
that
now.
I think stole Facebook. You
Right,
can say
Mark
created.
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg. Whatever. But anyway, you get somebody like that his parents are very wealthy, sends them to a high-end school like Harvard. Obviously there's people there with great minds that come up with these things. But, let's assume he didn't get involved with Facebook, because I don't want to say he created, but let's say he didn't get involved with Facebook. What do you think he'd be today?
I'm not sure what he'd be.
Doctor, lawyer, maybe, who knows, right? Doctor, dentist.
He seemed to be a techie. No surprise, he created the whole thing to meet girls. It was to meet girls and
so
see
my
faces
point is, where
and
do you
stuff.
think he may have been a nobody today? The point I'm trying to get to is that businesses today, I think that most businesses today here on Long Island are businesses that have been developed by our generation and before. Mm-hmm. I don't see any new entrepreneurs out there, and I would like to. I would like to see more of it. Give you an example. My son Alex just got back here from Washington State. Mm-hmm. And to me, I think that inside he's brilliant on what he has in his head. Outside, I don't know if he has the drive, but I think he's brilliant at what he thinks and how he thinks. But he doesn't have that drive. And he worked for a company that made that smoking thing, that vapor. Mm-hmm. You know what it's called, vapor? And we were sitting down the other day, and he's starting to tell me all about this thing with vapor and all about the stuff that goes in it and how it works and the technical issues that go along with it. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to him. And I'm saying to myself, he knows every aspect of this business, from the creation to the sale. And he could do this. So my question is, why isn't he doing it? So I said to him, I said, Alex, let me ask you a question. How much money do you need to open up a place like this? And he said to me, he says, I don't know, maybe $10,000. I said, if I handed you $20,000 right now, what could you do? He says, I can open up the whole thing. Now his mind starts thinking. And I just wish that there was more people that thought like me or you that could create industry here on Long Island instead of depending on the industry that was created by us or our fathers before us. And you have intelligent kids like this. What is their missing drive? Why is that drive missing?
One, my hope is, I do think it's lessened, for sure. I agree. We finally agree on something. I believe it's lessened,
Oh, my God.
but it is still there. It is still there.
Good.
And it better be there. So I think the drive is there. These kids are growing up a bit more struggling now. This latest generation has seen parents, not that it's great, but parents losing their homes, parents this. It's been around already for a while, and they'll see people struggling, which might give them an inner drive more. They better get that feeling back, because I don't see jobs coming back. They keep saying the divide between the very rich and the poor, and the middle class keeps moving closer to the poor, is existing. So I think they better get that drive back, because I see people to live in this country and be a success, unless they're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, and even then they better make money. They're going to have to be individual brokers of their own expertise or their own expertises. Everyone's going to be like a broker out there on their own. And I hope their expertises have synergies together and make sense. But man, they better bust their butt. I've created some popular things, and I'm a marketing guy, and I sit down, my point I want to make with this is this. The best marketing ideas in the world, Facebook, Google, Twitter, the next big thing, pales in comparison to someone's drive and determination. So I often disagree with Mr. Mele over here. Listen to him on this one, guys. You want to be successful in this world? We want our kids to be successful in the world. Man, let's give ourselves or everyone a kick in the butt.
Yeah.
To get out there and make things happen.
I was watching a movie last night. You ever see the movie Independence Day?
No.
Sure you have. You know the one where the aliens come down?
Wait.
Of course you have.
You asked me if I saw a movie. I'm telling you I haven't. You're telling me I have.
Independence
Go on.
Day. You never saw Independence with Will Smith?
I don't know how they say it in Arabic. No. No. But what about it?
Watch it.
Okay.
We're watching this movie, and I was fortunate enough to have my daughter also here this weekend. And we're watching this movie, and what happens is the aliens come down, and they strategically set their ships because they're going to blow up the world. And the one actor who understands why they're doing this now has to get to Washington. But everybody is trying to get out of Washington. So I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm watching this, and they have all this traffic trying to get out of Washington. And it's all in the northbound lane. But the whole southbound lane is totally empty. So I'm looking at this movie, and what's your first thought?
My first thought, if it was an emergency, I wish I could get into
Why
the
aren't
lane
they
and go-
traveling
and go-
in southbound
and
lane?
go against traffic
So
for
I
that
said
one
to my
time.
daughter, I says, I don't understand this. If all of these people are back to back to back and there's nobody in the southbound lane, why don't half those cars get into the southbound lane and start heading north? She turns around to me, she says, how do you think like that? Now, I'm not thinking I mean, I wasn't born with an extra part, was I?
Not that I know.
In my brain, all right? I don't think people are born with extra parts. So, well, some people are. But anyway, that's a whole nother topic. But anyway, my point is that, guys, listen. If you are watching this show and you want to succeed in today's world, which is getting more difficult to deal with every single day, you have got to sit down and figure it out. There are more opportunities in America to become successful than any other country in the world. If you have an idea like this, you need to do it. But we're going to get more into this in just a few minutes. We're going to cut to commercial right now. When we come back, we're going to continue this conversation on why our youth should actually start to strive more for what their future may hold. We'll be right back after this.
Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
Hi, welcome back to Live from Long Island. I'm Tom Mele here with David Gussin. We're talking about kids today and why we need our youth to actually build the future here for America, especially here on Long Island. Getting back, David, to what Alex said to me the other day, we are planning to do something like this. And you know, he wants to, I think it's important for him to, I think he wants to have his own business. So we're going to be entertaining the idea of opening up a Viper bar. And people say, not a biker bar, a Viper bar. Mm-hmm. And what it's going to do is, from what I understand about these Viper cigarettes, or these Viper things that they smoke, is obviously it's very healthy for you. It's better than cigarettes. Everybody knows the dangers of cigarettes and what they can do to you. And what it does is, what holds a child or somebody addicted to cigarettes is obviously the nicotine. Nicotine is actually put into these Viper cigarettes, and that's what they're tasting. And so they deal with it. I don't know that there was too many studies on if nicotine actually is detrimental to your health, and of course I want to find out about it. I think if it was, I think that, you know, we would have known about it. I don't think it's the nicotine. I think it's it's the tar and the smoke itself that you're inhaling that becomes the issue. But we're gonna start to explore the possibilities of opening a Viper bar, maybe named after the station. Who knows what we're going to do with it? And what it's going to do is it's going to be a bar-like setting with a possible vapor. What did I say? Viper?
Viper, but vapor bar.
Vapor. You know what I'm talking about. And have like a couch, almost like I remember Friends, the sitcom Friends, almost like a setting like that with the couches and the chairs and this, and then a bar set up where you can go up and you can try. I guess there's different flavors of this vapor that you can, and I haven't seen anything like it. I've been doing some research on it. So that's our next new enterprise. But it's things like that people who excel in what they do. I always had a slogan from the time I can remember getting out of the service: never be the pilot. I mean, never be the stewardess when you can be the pilot. And everybody here has the opportunity to be the pilot. They just have to keep pushing for it. And when they say they don't have money to do it and that everything revolves around money, I don't know that that's necessarily true. I met a girl the other day who was involved in an accident, and she came to the law firm, and we were talking, and she had breast implants put on. And she was involved in the accident. One of the breast implants broke. One of the cylinders or whatever's inside there broke. And I said to her, she was complaining. She doesn't have this, she doesn't have that, she doesn't have money, she's this, she's homeless. I said, wait a minute, how did you come up with the money to get these things put in? She says, I worked in Burger King and I saved all my money for a year. So my point is this, if that woman can work in Burger King and save all her money for breasts that cost $15,000, David, why can't people work in Burger King, save all their money, and open up a business that has the potential of striving and excelling for the future?
I mean, one they can.
You think it's laziness?
Listen, you're an attorney. I think a person.
Listen, first of all, let's get back to that.
I'm going back to you. You're a personal injury attorney, right? Is that
Yes.
correct?
No. Yes and no.
Okay. But your expertise is law.
Yes.
My expertise is igniting business. That's what I do. I help hundreds of businesses in Long Island ignite business. So if guys are
Ignite
first,
business.
you don't need money. And actually, since I've never been rich, I hope to be. I have respect. I want to be money-wise in that 1% that everyone talks about, but I want to earn it. No one has to give it to me. So first of all, you got a phone, you got a mouth, you got a computer, get to work. You can do anything you put your mind to if you believe in something.
I disagree with that because you need
Wait,
to
you
have
disagree with you have a phone, you got a mind, you got a computer, get to work?
You have to have a certain amount of financial backing to make it work.
Yes,
How do you buy the computer if you don't have a job?
It's certainly, well, you know what? Everyone seems to have a computer, poor or rich. Everyone has a phone. In this country, somehow everyone has those things. They have those things. You do need a little bit of money, but what happens if you don't? What happens if you don't have a family to back you up and give you $20,000?
You go to work for it.
Or you could
But half
save
of
it.
these kids are lazy today.
Hey, listen, Tommy, you know what? You're in your office too much. I'm out igniting business. There are people who used to have storefronts and stuff. Say they were a home interior person, and they had storefronts with all these patterns and paints, paying an extra $2,000 or $3,000 for their storefront, their brick and mortar place. You know what, though? As the computer came around, they shut their storefront, and they turned themselves into a broker. They made themselves more efficient at whatever they did, meaning cut down on the cost of having a rent, the phone bills, and everything that go with it. But they were still an expert in the broker. They still had the relationships. So the first thing, well, Tommy is right about one thing. Attitude, spirit, all that matters, that drive. Follow your passion. Whatever it is you believe in, there's something you must love. If you're not sure what to do, at least try to do something that you love. And if there is something that you love, almost anything, food or anything, there are connections to be made to get people the products that they want. Now, you can either develop your own, or you could be a broker for many things. Let's take a healthcare person now. It doesn't matter what the name of the product is if you're a health expert. They believe in you. That health person, they believe in the vibe. They believe in that person's expertise. So if you're going to be a health expert and you're not making your own vitamins, it doesn't mean you won't succeed. You can succeed. But, man, you better be knowledgeable at what you do. When people come to a question, we have a health expert on later today. You're going to see a guy who has the real answers to stuff, doesn't fumble over anything, really knows his stuff.
Listen, you know what?
What?
I still think that even though we have the tools to do it here, you got to have the drive to want it bad enough.
That we agree on.
And you're probably right that most people today, I wanted to make sure that my kids had more than I have. And I look at them and I'm seeing that that's not happening as much as I would like to see.
Certainly cause for concern.
So, it's. I think you have to have that drive, and I think that as parents today that have succeeded, that we're making it too easy for them.
Made it easy, and
When I had my first car, my father said, "You want a car? Go out and buy it." Today, kids graduate high school, graduate college, their fathers are buying them Lamborghinis. It's ridiculous. Where is the issue of how do you learn to make this on your own? You know, somebody came up to me a couple of weeks ago and says to me, "Can you teach me about money?" What does that mean? Can I teach you about money? Well, I don't know how to handle money. I don't know how to invest money. Well, either do I. You know, all I know is that, I need to do certain things, so I need to work and strive to make that happen. I have a vision of what I want. And I just don't my son was in high school one time, and he comes home, and he had failed a course, or he couldn't spell correctly or whatever. And I went to the school very concerned about this, and I said to the teacher, you know, what the hell is going on here? Why? Well, we really don't put a big emphasis on spelling because there's spell check now.
Tommy, can I get back to business for our viewers? Like you said, the show's for business and bettering people. Actually, I'll even use Madhouse as a thing of igniting business and branding. I take what Tommy's talking about very seriously. People getting out there, bettering their business, having better lives. Unfortunately, money's so important in this world. Guys, one thing, brand yourself. Don't be afraid to buy your name.com. My company's 516ads.com because I'm not trying to brand myself. I'm trying to build a resource. But let's use web TV and what we're doing here. We love our sponsors, Giorgente New York, Premier Jewelry and Watch Company, the law offices of Peter Wagner, and Dr. Carlson. We absolutely love them. But guys, you want to brand your company, you want to get out there, you come to Madhouse Studio or whatever studio you go to, make your own television show. Brand yourself. Get out there, make your own ABC, make your own CBS. You don't, Facebook and them, those are just extras. Brand yourself. Buyyourname.com. You want to dominate without alienating. That's a very, very delicate thing to
Explain
do.
that.
Man, in your industry, whatever you want to do, people should want to be the best at it. When I was a paper boy, I wanted to be the best. When I worked at the bagel store, I want to be the best. When I'm a marketing guy, I want to be the best. As an attorney, I hope you want to be the best. And that means when people are looking for an attorney in your field, let me call Tom Mele. And that's because you build and develop a respect for yourself. That guy knows what he's talking about. So you want to dominate your industry. This is not a game. They call it work for a reason. But at the same time, you don't want to alienate. You don't want to go out there and rub people the wrong way. I'm always afraid that I do. I'm sorry. My passion does. So you want to dominate, but at the same time, you want to be able to get along and shake hands with people and have people feel good when they see you. One of the great business quotes is people don't remember what you say. They don't remember what you do. They remember how you make them feel. So when you're out there, it's not out, when you're out there, make people feel something. Because I got to tell you something. I've been talking this week to people about it. There's discussers and there's closers. People, they discuss, and everyone's picking their brain for free. And then in business, there's closers. Let me tell you something about closing a deal, viewers, because I don't know much about anything, but the little bit I know is in this category. The deal is almost closed in the first 5 seconds that you meet the person. They know if they want to do business with you or not from when they first meet you. You could only almost ruin it after that because people get a feeling for someone. But anyway, dominate without alienating. That means be great at what you do, bust your butt, never stop busting your butt. Look at Blockbuster. Guy built $1 billion Blockbuster company, but they didn't keep up with the times. Maybe they thought they'd never disappear. Maybe they thought that the web was just a little thing and they didn't make the adjustments. They went from $1 billion company to non-existent.
Listen, we have a guest out there that we want to bring on, but right now, before we bring this guest on, David, we're going to cut to a commercial real quick. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stand by.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multi-discipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
And we're back. Before we end up with our third and final segment of the show, once again, we want to thank our sponsors. And actually, what I like about our sponsors is quality. World-class quality, as our third guest here today will be. Gente, New York, based right here in Melville, I believe opening up a shop in Woodbury. World-class quality, Gente, New York, that's clothing. Premier Jewelry and Watch Company, my buddy James Cruz, honored to work with you, Premier Jewelry. The law offices of Peter J. Wagner, and of course the founder of Shoes for All, Dr. Mary Carlson, podiatrist here in Long Island. Me and Tom can't do this show without him. To open up this last segment, I want to go back to the term world class. For those who see me in Long Island, maybe you saw a couple of weeks ago, I had a massive amount of pain in my back. I could hardly move. And my massage therapist, he was in Utah. And while I did with so many wonderful people and they were willing to work on me for free, man, I waited for Eugene Wood to come back. So Eugene, welcome and nice to have you here, buddy.
It's nice to be here, David. Thank you so much.
Eugene, I want you to meet my friend, Mr. Mele.
We met in the green room.
Yes, we did.
Love the name, Eugene Wood.
Thank you very much.
Clean. I like that.
Eugene, to me, you are world class. I know you have an office in Columbus Circle in one of the most premier spots of the city, working on from athletes to everyone.
Absolutely.
And it's funny, when I went to my first massage with you, I clearly remember before I went, my first massage in my life.
Oh.
And I was like going for my first massage, afraid of the noises that are going to come out of me, the oohs and the ahs. And I was expecting something rough. You weren't rough at all, buddy.
No.
You were very gentle, and there was very soothing music. And even before you say a word, I just got to say for Eugene, when I went there, it was for a massage. But when I ended up going there, I just felt like it was more than that to me. To me, you were just taking care of my whole health thing. And in times, we got to talking about Parkinson's that my dad had. It was not just the massage that my bones hurt. You look at a person's whole body, in my estimation,
I do.
and feel so much in them.
I do.
I'm going to shock the world and be quiet now.
Well,
what's your take on that, buddy?
The thing is, there's over 250 types of massage, and most people know the spa, Swedish massage type, but there's so many other styles, and I've had so much education where a subtle touch, you can go deep tissue without deep pressure. That's huge to think about, that you can go deep in the body without hurting them or going with a lot of pressure. It's a subtle thing. It has to do with the energy of the body and the energy of the practitioner. A rookie massage therapist will come in and you'll say, oh, my shoulder hurts, because everybody has this house of pain right by the shoulder because they're hunched over the computer and this hurts. Why does this hurt? Because they need to open up. So the rookie massage therapist is going to go in and start digging on the part that already hurts and just either hurt the person or exacerbate the problem. So
That's a good
you
point.
want to look at why, and that's what I do. I look at why you're having the issue that you're having and go to the cause. Because the body is a fabric, and this fabric is called fascia. So that's a new word, fascia.
Before I have you talk to Tommy, so I don't hog up this whole segment, I'm going to have you talk to Tommy about the separate stuff that you do, maybe some music that you're involved in. I know you took a plane out from Republic Airport last week.
Well,
it was very cool.
I came to New York to be a rock star.
That's true. But I have a serious question about
Please.
your profession.
Please.
I go to a lot of massages. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have a lot of massages. I enjoy it. It kind of takes me out of reality a little
Absolutely.
bit, you know. And I
Stress
go
is the number
to-
one killer in stress.
And I have a very stressful, my day job obviously is very stressful. Creating and organizing here at the studio has a stress attached to it. But I go to a massage therapist. I usually go for 90 minutes
Okay.
when I go, an hour to 90 minutes. And you're right, and that makes a very good point. When I go, what she does is she says, oh, you have a knot. And she takes her thumb or her elbow and she breaks into, and I'm going to tell you something, it hurts. You know, I mean, I can stand it, but, you know, it hurts. Now, you're telling me that you do the same thing and you break up those so-called knots.
Adhesions.
Are they knots? They're
Absolutely.
adhesions. Now, that's a fluid buildup in there, is it not?
Actually not.
It's not.
No, what
Because they make
happens-
me drink a lot of water when we're done. Because
And
they
that's
said
a
the-
fallacy as well, because
See
they say,
that?
oh, we've released all these toxins.
Right, exactly.
It's not true.
It's not true.
Scientific evidence has shown that that is not true. And they talk about lactic acid buildup after exercise. The body's going to absorb the lactic acid anyway. So this,
So how do you do it without having to put that much pressure on you?
well, knowing the insertion and the origin of the muscle and how the muscle acts, and then you bring it into a position of ease so the muscle says, oh, this feels good, I can relax. And then you start bending, just like a spoon. The more you bend the spoon, the softer it gets, and it builds up heat, and it relaxes, and it lets go. Also, I always stretch the body. What does an animal do the first thing in the morning? They stretch. What do we don't do? We never stretch.
It's true. They get up
You're
and they
right.
stretch
You're right.
first thing in the
So if
morning.
you were to stretch and put that muscle into a position of ease where it can relax, then you can show, because every muscle also has a calibration of this is how long it should be. So think about, if you're always in this position, this muscle learns that this is how long they are, and this muscle says, oh, but I'm overstretched all the time, and it locks up. And you get these things called trigger points, and that's that knot that you're feeling. This taut band of muscle is just done, and it just locks up because the fascia around the muscle freezes the muscle in place. So what you do is you gently stretch this. Now, if I lengthen this muscle and this muscle learns, oh, I'm this long, what's going to happen to this muscle? It's going to relax because it's not going to be overstretched. So a lot of it is posture. A lot of it, I always give my clients homework of using a yoga ball and getting into that opposite position that we're in. We are in a flexion-addicted society.
Got it, Dan.
We're always like this, we're always like this, we're always like this, we're always like this, we're always, what do you got to do? Breathe,
Yeah.
relax.
Eugene, I want to go through some stuff that just, it was so simple, and you helped me so much with it. And Tommy, when my back did hurt, while it could have been a multitude of things, the person, if they said, David, put your wallet in your back pocket. Like, don't put your wallet in your back pocket and sit
Sciatica,
down.
number one reason
It
of
throws off
sciatica.
the body. After every day, a little bit, it throws off a little more because your butt's not sitting.
Also, it's pressing on the sciatic nerve.
So,
And,
multitude of things, but a simple thing, don't put your wallet in your back pocket. But there are certain
Well,
things.
people, I mean, I see people with wallets. They look like the George Costanza
Look
wallets.
at me.
My wallet is this thin. It's very thin.
Mm-hmm.
I keep my license, a couple of credit cards, and that's it.
It would have less effect, obviously, if it's thinner, but it
Right.
throws off,
Still, no,
the
still,
body.
Absolutely.
Even a wallet, that was going to be my
Absolutely.
question. That wallet that thin still throws off the
Makes
body.
a difference.
Absolutely.
And you
Because
sit
what do
in
we
the
do
car.
most of the time? We sit, right? And we're not designed to sit.
And every day it throws off a little more
If I had
before
a
you know it.
pelvis and show you the two sides of the pelvis and what that does, it just
What do
anterior.
you mean we're not designed to sit?
We're not designed to sit.
Why
We're
not?
because human beings, we're supposed to stand. Do you know that sitting is more stressful on the body than manual labor? Because movement is life. So the more you're moving and you're in these planes of motion, you're alive. The body is adjusting. The body's working. When you sit, we don't sit nicely. We don't keep the curves. The spine has 4 curves in it. The neck goes this way, the thoracic goes this way, the lower back goes this way. So when you're sitting, what are you doing? You're taking the curves out of the spine, which is interrupting the nerve
What about sleeping?
sleeping. Well, we all have to sleep, and it's best to sleep on your back if you can, but no one does. But what I do teach people is how to sleep on their side or stomach in a way that doesn't compress the neck. Because when you sleep on your side and you're compressing this shoulder and this brachial plexus, now your fingers are tingling. Well, why are your fingers? So you have to open up the front so that the nerves that come out of the neck that innervate the arm can have room to...
Well, the nerves in the neck end in the fingers except for the C5 in the shoulder, correct?
C5 through C7 also innervate the radial and ulnar nerve. So,
Do they really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Eugene,
Yeah.
I'm a person.
C3 through T1 innervate make up the whole brachial plexus.
Eugene, I'm a person that, for my own fault, don't take such good care of myself. Yet when I'm in your office, I've learned so many things that simplify it for me. I want to go to 4 things so you could give it to our viewers.
Sure.
You spoke to me, and it's funny. I said, like, water is like the
oil.
It's the oil, but at first, water's the most important thing he taught me. But it's not the gasoline of the body; it's the oil of the body. I want to do all 4,
Okay.
and then you'll
Sure,
go up more on it.
Sure.
Water being the oil of the body,
Right.
food being the gasoline of the body. You also told me about breathing. You told me breathing's, and the reason I'm saying this, guys, is see me, so much anxiety and stress in me. I wish I didn't have it. Yet you're so calm all the time.
Not all the time.
Most of the time I see you and you being on the show, you could see a calmness in you. You told me about breathing.
Absolutely.
And how important it is, and it's actually a conscious effort of how you breathe. So far, water, food, breathing, and then we use the thing, actively calm and calmly active.
Quite right, quite right.
Please, those 4 thoughts.
Okay, so as we know, the body is made up of 80% water. So the water lubricates. It lubricates the fascia, it helps the muscles glide upon one another, and it just transports the fluids out of the body. So, just lubricates the joints, the synovial fluid in the joints, and the lymph system. So the water is so important to activate all of the...
You told me it's the most important thing. I just want to
Well,
be
it
clear.
is. No, it is.
So it's
absolutely.
number
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, right. You can go days without food, but you really need water every day. And they say 8 to 10. The new thing about water, whatever you weigh, let's say you weighed 100 pounds. It's half of your body weight in ounces a day. First thing I do when I get up in the morning, I drink a glass of water. That just sets me right for the first couple of hours, right? Then you can have your coffee. Then you can do whatever. But coffee's a diuretic. What's the first thing most people do? Get the coffee. They're already draining their body of an already thirsty body. And people say, well, I hate the taste of water, so they'll drink a soda. Or can I drink tea?
So they should wake up and have a glass of water then?
Yes, I think.
First.
Yes.
And you say half the body weight in
In
ounces.
ounces.
So let's, hypothetically, I'm 200 pounds.
Okay.
100 ounces.
So I need 100 ounces.
A day.
A day.
100 ounces.
Throughout the day. Not all at once.
Well, 100 ounces would equal, let's drop it off, ounces
Almost
quart.
12 bottles of those 8
Like a
ounce
gallon,
things.
64 ounces in a gallon, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So a gallon and a half, maybe,
of water.
of water.
There's people that don't drink a gallon and a half of water a week.
A month. I know. And no wonder they're tight and
Well, water also works to help your kidneys and,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
Well, we also get water
flush.
through our vegetables, your
Correct.
salads if you eat them, but still, we don't drink enough water.
They
Very
won't be able
interesting.
to, they won't be able to see the breathing mechanism on the air. Could you attempt to explain it? Because it's real. A deep breath in.
Well, what's the
deep
first
breath
thing you
out.
do when you're born?
When you're born?
You take a deep breath.
You take a breath. What's the last thing you do when you die, before you die?
You take your last breath.
Take your last breath. Every moment you're breathing. But people, they stop breathing. They get constricted. When's the last time you had a nice deep breath? And the way the diaphragm works, and you know because you're a musician and you probably sing, but you breathe from here. 60% of our lung capacity is in the lower third of our lungs. So an optimum breath would be. And it's so relaxing. But guess what? The body is movement. Movement is life. For every breath you take, your kidneys move 2 centimeters this way, 2 centimeters that way. So you're actually giving yourself a self-massage with every breath you take. But people get here and they get constricted and, they just breathe up here. They're shallow breathers.
Is breathing for health in your mind or as much calmness? When I
Well-
think of breathing with you, I think of that calmness.
Well, breath control is self-control, and breath controls the mind, and mind controls the body. So when you've got all the monkey mind or the popcorn thoughts going on, if you can get into the breath and remember that breath control is self-control, and you can control the mind through the breath, because it is the first thing that we do and the last thing that we do. So if you just consciously breathe, okay, this is what I say. Without this next breath, nothing else matters. Without this next breath, nothing else matters. Because if you don't take this next inhalation, you're dead. So what little worry that you've got in your mind is important. Is it really that important? So when somebody's cutting you off or you're getting upset at work, just say, hey, wait a minute. And people say, oh, I have to do this today. I have to do that today. No. You get to do this. You get to do that because you're alive. And we're not going to be here forever. So if you can keep that perspective of, wow, I chose this. You chose this. You chose this studio. You chose your life. Enjoy it. It's a happy life. It's who you are.
Eugene, I want the viewers and Tom, and I don't even know how much time he has left, but man, you flew out of Republic Airport last week. You were flying a plane. It cost you $100 to go to Republic Airport.
Well-
and you also happen to be a musician. And I think Tommy's more into that kind of stuff. I want him to control that part of the interview. But the first thing you came in today, guys, he came in and he said, Dave, your quote was great. And I think after I say this
Oh, it was
quote,
great.
I think I'm done for the show.
It is
I'm going to leave it to these two gentlemen. But the quote of the day was, and I think it's a good one, the smallest act of kindness is worth more than the grandest intention. It said you liked that one to start your
I
day,
did
right?
like that because, listen, be kind to everyone because everyone is fighting their own battles and their own war. So if you can just be a little kinder and try to understand as you're having your troubles that they're having their troubles as well. So that small act of kindness of, it goes a long way and it's contagious.
Well,
because now they've had an act of kindness, then they'll say, you know what, I feel better today because of that. And then they're going to help someone else because they realize how good it feels.
When
It's
people
going
are
to be a topic for conversation because I agree and disagree.
Okay.
Which part? I have to disagree.
The
part.
act of kindness.
Okay.
And we can get into that probably the next
The
show.
beginning of next week.
All right, because one of the things that irritates me the most
Okay.
is when I get on the phone with Sirius Radio, who, anything about Sirius Radio, great radio station, but when I get on the phone and I get one of those representatives that are so overly kind to me,
Oh, well, you can. yeah.
drives me up the wall. Lady, just get it to work. That's what I'm asking you.
But you understand that they've had their training.
But
and their
why do they
scripts.
train? Why do people get trained to be that kind to aggravate everybody?
They don't do it to aggravate. They have had.
But they do, right?
I understand it, but I'd rather have that than some rude person who's like, thinks they know it
Why don't
all.
you just
and-
have somebody who talks normal? Hi,
What is
yeah, what's
normal?
your problem?
What is normal?
I'll give you an example. Hi, you're calling Sirius Radio. What's the problem? Well, my radio isn't working. All right, tell me really quick. What's wrong with it? Well, it's not going to the stations. All right, let me try to reboot it. Instead of, can I have your first name? And did I help you so nicely today? And they ask you a whole series of questions. Why do they have to go talk normal. You know, when I do my
because
radio
they're
commercial,
metrics. Yeah, go ahead.
when I do our radio commercial for the law practice, and you may have heard it on BLI, BAB, or something like that, I get right to the point, and I think that's what made it successful. I do not stand there with my hand holding a law book up against a big bookshelf. I say, hi, this is the deal. All right? Don't waste time getting advice from people who don't get it and don't understand it. And I say it in that monotone.
Salino and Bar.
Yeah. Does that drive you crazy?
It drives me
All
crazy.
right. So my point is, even though it's a very memorable commercial and there's other issues that go with it, I hate being fake.
Okay. Well,
I think that when people are fake, and maybe the word fake with kindness,
yeah, see, now
it
that's an
drives
association.
me
Okay.
insane.
That's
but that's a topic for another
that's
day.
an association.
You fly planes.
Well, no.
He took a,
What I like to, I would love to be a pilot, but my wife says I don't have enough insurance.
Well, you and I are in the same boat.
But
But he flew
when a
last week.
Groupon comes along for $99, I'll book it because it gives me the experience of flying.
Did
Now-
you like being up there?
Oh, forget about it.
Did you fly the plane?
Yeah.
Would you fly a Cessna?
Yeah.
Okay. I
A
love 'em.
Cherokee, a Cherokee, and the first one was an overwing and then an underwing. But you fly out from Republic. The guy's your instructor. He teaches you the control panels. He teaches you, you taxi out and you learn to steer with your feet, and then they let you take off. And they let you fly and you keep it level. And I've done enough simulators that I can keep the plane pretty steady and watch the horizon. And you take a couple of turns.
Pretty cool.
it's like driver's ed,
very
it's like
cool.
driver's ed in
A
the
very
air.
good friend of mine,
Very
Ron
cool.
Siegel, he owns a big car auto used car dealership, Circus of Cars out in Medford. Had two planes, very good friends. We used to fly over to Connecticut all the time for lunch. And he said to me, I said, Ron, I want to buy a plane with you. And we had every intentions of buying a plane. And we looked at the Cessna 182s, you know, which is a little bit better than 172s, et cetera, et cetera. And I, just like you, so I feel your pain, I said to my wife, can I get a plane if I learn how to fly? And she says, absolutely. I said, will you fly with me? She says, absolutely not. So I said, well, listen, why don't you go out to the airport and get in the plane and see if you like it? And she took off, like you said, on the runway, over the water, and I'm thinking, this is great. 30 seconds later, I have a tap on my shoulder. She made the guy come right down. So needless to say, I never went for my license and got the plane. I love flying.
Me too.
And I think it's a great thing. I think you're safer in a bigger plane than you are in a smaller plane. But if you look at statistics, how many times have we heard of a Cessna going down other than pilot error?
I know. No, it's always the pilot error.
It's always the
Right.
pilot's error.
In one way or another, whether they didn't
Right.
check the oil or see how many hours the engine.
Check
You're
the
absolutely
fuel,
right,
check
right,
whatever
right.
it is, right. It's always pilot error.
Right.
So if you want to be a hot shot, there's a better than average chance you're going to have a problem.
Yep.
You want to take it serious,
No, you'd be safe.
there's a better than
Safety
average
first.
chance you're safe.
Hey, Tom, I almost forgot. We went through the whole show. Eugene, I mentioned it to you when I came in this week. Hey, you remember those guests we had last week from Dahab and Bethpage?
I do.
They made history, ladies and gentlemen. The Dahab, it was called the Free Group, was the first special needs group in history to march in a New York City parade. And they came right here from Bethpage, New York. And Tommy, we had the honor, you know, we talk about having a show, giving a platform to regular people in the community. No matter what
that's right.
happens,
They was-
we had the honor of having those kids on and their great mentors on our show. Even before Newsday, had them scrolling all day long. News 12 had them scrolling all day long.
Yeah, they were
Very
great.
proud to have them on our show. And thanks to our sponsors, of course, for making it possible. You're the boss here. What do we got, a minute left in the
Yeah,
show,
you know,
Tommy?
Eugene, I really, I've learned a lot by having you on today, and I
Thank
hope
you.
the viewers did as well.
Thank you.
As somebody who does get massages very frequently, I learned that you don't need to have that pressure to get rid of the binding that takes place from the stress that builds up in our body.
There's a lot of different techniques.
Your centers are located where?
Well, I'm in Columbus Circle at 30 West 60th Street. I'm also in Wantagh at 2050 Wantagh Avenue, and I'm opening up a new office in Seaford. I like to partner with other healthcare practitioners like chiropractors and physical therapists. I work with the U.S. Open golfers. You know, I work on professional
Is there a
athletes.
phone number they can reach you at?
Oh, 917-952-8052. Once again, 917 952-8052.
You also take no fault.
Absolutely.
And you take major medical.
Well, no, medical, the insurance companies do not accept massage therapy by a massage therapist yet. We're working toward that end.
It's amazing. It just aggravates me with the
I know,
carriers.
I know.
But be it as it may, for those of you, I know that I deal with a lot of automobile accidents. One of the biggest things that we see from the firm is that even though they're going to a multidisciplined facility, they never support massage therapy within these facilities, which is something that I think is imperative. I know the reasoning why. It's a financial issue with the billing, and they can't bill under certain codes, et cetera, et cetera.
That's not quite true.
Well, I know that they have to offset one another, but what I can tell you is personal experience from being involved in an accident myself, that massage therapy, I think, is a crucial part of recovery from people that are involved in accidents.
And if you are involved in a motor vehicle accident, and I'm not making this a commercial, you don't need a doctor's prescription. You can come straight to the massage therapist because it's covered by no fault. And every time you're in an accident, you get up to $50,000 in benefits to spend the way you want. So they don't need I have the code.
No, they do not need a prescription.
That's right.
This is true.
Right.
And guys, if who's ever listening out there, take my word for it that when involved in any kind of an accident, whether it's a work-related accident, motor vehicle slip and fall, whatever the case may be, that I feel strongly that massage therapy is a very, very crucial part of recovery.
We're the
from all
soft
of it.
tissue experts.
Without
Nobody
a
does
doubt.
what we do.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Hey, I want our viewers to be more relaxed. So the first viewer that calls in next week, we're going to get you a free massage at Eugene's office in
Absolutely.
Wanto. Is that a good deal?
That's a good
So
deal.
the first caller next week, we want you to be happy and relaxed. We give them a free massage at Eugene's place. How's that, buddy?
That sounds like a plan.
Absolutely.
Eugene, thank you so much
Tom,
for coming
thank you
on the
for having
show.
me.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I'm Tom Mele, and you're watching live from Long Island. We'll be back next week, same time. Same time?
Same time next week.
Same
Same
time
time.
next week. We're going to be changing the time, though. We're going to talk about it, all right? Because I know that it's hard for people to get up at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. We get it. We know that you want to watch the show live. They do watch the reruns. It's almost like a DVR. But that's up for conversation next week. And if he brings me in a bagel that is toasted, not a mini, not a minor, but a real everything toasted bagel with cream cheese.
Okay.
This is the deal. Next week, I screwed up 2 or 3 weeks in a row. Next week,
I count 6, but that's
next
okay.
week, you're bringing in the bagels.
I'll bring in the
I want to
bagels.
see how it's done right.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being part of Live here from Long Island on the show. We'll see you next week. Have
See
a
you next week,
wonderful,
guys.
Wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much.